your Hall of Fame ring?
That is it, yeah.
What does that mean to you now that you've got it? And the idea of going in for so many different things, I mean.
Well, it's, you know, I certainly was a pretty good player, but my career outside of the court is what got me into that. And, you know, over the course of time, I was an assistant coach, a head coach, player personnel director, a GM, president of 3 different teams, worked for the NBA for 15 years in operations. So that part of it is, you know, is why I'm in the Hall of Fame. And, you know, it's like today is a benchmark, you know, for me and my family. The Hall of Fame was the same.
Do you ever have a press conference where the question doesn't come up that you're the person that drafted Michael Jordan?
Well, thank goodness. You know, I think that's probably what I'm known more for than anything else. And if you're going to be known for something, that's not a bad thing to be known by. About a month before the draft, Stu Inman, who was the GM of Portland at the time, that I was very friendly with, and I called him and I said, have you guys decided who you're going to take yet? And he said that if Bowie passed the physical, they would take him. So about a week before the draft, I called Stu and, did Bowie pass the physical? And he said yes. And I said, you still going to take him? And he said yes. So I knew that we were going to get Jordan before the draft, unless some crazy trade came up. But we were very, very fortunate. Had Portland won the flip, they would have taken Elijah Wan. Houston would have taken Michael. So we were just very, very fortunate.
Had you been number 1, would you have taken Jordan?
I would have taken Elijah Wan.
Okay.
You know, if you think back to, you know, everything is relative to the time.
Yeah.
Big guys were so much more important than small.
Yeah.
So anybody that says they wouldn't have taken Elijah Wan is not telling the truth. Because 30 teams would have taken him.
Did you like the game today? Did you like the NBA?
The game has changed. All the three-point shooting, you know, the analytics tell you that you make 32% of your threes, that's like making 50% of your twos. It's gone from, where are the low post players? Embiid, maybe a couple other guys, that's it. So now it's more outside in than inside out. To my personal preference, I'd like to see a little more variance, a little more diversity in play. My personal preference, but the fans seem to like it. You know, the NBA is doing as, you know, better than they've ever done. And you know, look back, about 15 years ago, everybody was talking about there are no point guards in the NBA. Now, if you don't have a point guard, you're dead. Everybody almost has a really good point guard. And then 10 years or so, no shooters. Now shooters are everywhere because the AAU programs, the young programs started emphasizing those things. And, you know, small guys can play now that couldn't play before because of the physicality of the game. And now you can't touch guys out front. Guys who can only shoot can play because they've spread the court, changed the game. So it's different. It really is. You know, look at Houston. They start a 6'5" center, and they're good. They have a good team. A 6'5" center, that's like crazy.
For you, evaluating where it clicked and you knew that you wanted to make a life out of basketball, or did it just kind of happen?
I wish I were prescient enough as I was coming to the end of my career as a player due to injury, that I had a plan, but not really. I was going to go to law school at the University of Washington
After your playing career?
after my playing career was over. And I got a call in the summer. I was all set to go. And I got a call from Kevin Lockery, who was a coach of the New York Nets of the ABA. And I had played with him my first year in the NBA with Baltimore. And he offered me a job as an assistant coach. And I said, you know, I'm going to go to law school. I don't think so. And a couple of days later, I said to my wife, you know, Lockery offered me this job, and I think I'd like to take it. And she thought I was crazy. What are you talking about? You know, we got a good life here. You know, you're going to go to law school. What are you doing? But she agreed that if I really wanted to do it, we'd do it. So we came cross country and set up housekeeping on Long Island and won the championship the first year with Dr. J. And so then you know, I've just been in it ever since.
For you evaluating players, whether you're going to draft them or building your team, is there one or two things that they had to have for you to say, yeah, I want that guy?
Number one, talent, physical talent. That's the first thing. Number two, you like to have people that, you know, have a feel for basketball. In other words, they're smart players. Number three, you want somebody who's got heart. You want some toughness. But talent is number one. You know, good people too. You want people that are, you know, you can depend on. But you know, I think back to you know, the time I was drafting. Virtually every mistake I made in drafting had to do with talent. I always took the talent guy. You know, if he may not be the best guy in the world, you know, we'll put him in our system and he will be. Doesn't work all the time.
Rob, you always hear stories about the dream team and how at the very beginning of it, guys really had you kind of talked into doing it. How close was that, you know, to not come into fruition? And what was it like at the beginning stages of putting that together?
Well, Russ Granick and I, Russ was the deputy commissioner of the NBA, were responsible for getting the players. So the only player who, I'm trying to think, everybody I called said they would do it.
Okay.
And I think I called most of them, and they all said they would do it. No one knew how big that would be, including the commissioner. Do you know that Russia and the U.S. voted against it, allowing pros to play? But that was unbelievable what it did for basketball around the world. You know, now in the NBA, you've got over 100 foreign kids. That's because of the 1992 Dream Team. The things I remember about it is Jordan was clearly the best player, clearly. But his personality did not affect the team from the standpoint of I'm Michael Jordan. I want to be the leading scorer. I want to do this. He was total team guy. Barkley was the leading scorer and rebounder on that team. And but Jordan in practices, oh my goodness, it was unbelievable.
Rod, you're
freshman coming to West Virginia. You practice against Jerry West. Your impression, did you think, oh my gosh, I can't play at this level? Or did you think, hey, I'm good enough, maybe I can be here someday?
Jerry was a great player. And he was a great player. He had unbelievable hand-eye coordination. He had long arms. He had it all. Great athlete. And I practiced against him a lot. He was cut above. He really was. He was absolutely great. Jerry could, in those days, guys didn't work out all summer like they do now. Season's over, they take a couple of days off and they work out all summer. Jerry could not pick up a ball for 2 or 3 months, shoot for 30 minutes when he was in mid-season form. That's how good he was. When you're talking about the great 2 guards of all time, you're talking about Jordan, Wes, Kobe Bryant, maybe Dwayne, maybe, put him somewhere in that category of all time. That's how good he was.
What kind of pressures did you face coming in as the guy after Jerry?
And the pressure, it had nothing to do with the coaches, or it had to do with me. I put a lot of pressure on myself to try to live up to be the next West, and nobody was going to do that. So I had a tough time with that for a while. And then I realized, you've got to try to be the best player you can be. You can't, you're not going to be Jerry West. And then it was fun.
Not only were you the guy after, but you wore the same number. Did that enhance the
Yeah,
pressure?
now that is one, if I had to do over, I probably wouldn't have done it, to tell you the truth.
Do you wish you had a three-point play when?
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Your two-hand jump shot
Oh,
was
I would,
beyond the arc. Yeah.
I shot like a two-handed jump shot, and I had a lot of range, and I would love the three-point shot. Yes.
Have you been Rod Field out?
Have I been by the field now?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
You know
In fact,
it's down.
we rode by last night. No longer there.
Tears, or as time goes by? What
As a traditionalist, you hate to see things that meant so much to so many people no longer there. But that's progress. That's part of life.
We have time for one more question.
Rod, as a kid growing up in Mercer County, coming here, where do you think the moment where you're going to be standing on the floor at halftime today, seeing that jersey go up in the rafters, can you even think about ranking that as far as in your career as a basketball player?
Well, as I said earlier, I've been fortunate enough to, have had certainly more than my share of, big days. This is certainly one of them.
Mike, you were a talent evaluator.
Right.
If you were going to draft, and they were all coming up together, Michael, Jerry, Kobe, Oscar, who would you say?
In all due respect to all those guys, Michael.
You couldn't be wrong. You couldn't go wrong there.
No, right. Oscar Robertson was unbelievable. When I first came in the league, he was absolutely unbelievable. Great player. He doesn't get enough credit, respect for how good he was, to me. He could tell you where he wanted to go and go there. If he came to half court and he said, I want to take you down to 8 feet and I want to shoot over you, he would take you to 8 feet and shoot over you. But in those days, you very seldom double team guys. That was get over every screen and you guard your man. That's changed a lot now.
Thank you for your time.
Hey, thanks.